Yes, dear students, in the last class we have studied about the Debye-Huckel theory of strong electrolytes. We have also studied what is its significance and experimental verification. Okay. I think all of you have gone through that lecture and understood the Debye-Huckel Onsager theory of strong electrolytes. Today we are going to discuss the next topic, that is activity coefficient of strong electrolytes. And determination of activity coefficient by electrochemical method. Okay. These two topics today we are going to discuss. In the last class we have studied the activity coefficient is related to the concentration of an electrolyte. In the case of strong electrolyte, when the solution is very dilute, what is the meaning? When the solution is very dilute, in the case of strong electrolytes, the activity coefficient will become unity. What does it means? Actually, the magnitude of activity coefficient represents the deviation from ideal behavior of any given electrolyte. If activity coefficient is unity, then it shows that there is no deviation from ideal behavior. The electrolyte behaves ideally. First of all, we must know what is the difference between ideal and non-ideal solution. Non-ideal solution is also called real solution. In the case of real solution, there will be attractive forces between the like and unlike molecules, where in the case of non-ideal solutions. Whereas in the case of ideal solutions, there is no attractive or repulsive force between like and unlike molecules. Okay? So, when the solution is very dilute, in the case of strong electrolytes, the ions will lie very far apart with one another. Automatically, the attractive force between the oppositely charged ions and repulsive force between the similar charged ions will be nullified. There will be no attractive forces, either attraction or repulsion. Then in that case, particularly in the case of strong electrolytes, in dilute solution or at infinite dilution, their activity coefficient becomes unity, that shows that there is no deviation from ideal behavior. But in most of the cases, in most of the strong electrolytes, as the concentration goes on increases, gamma value will become less than 1. That means there is a deviation from ideal behavior. In some cases, the activity coefficient value will become greater than 1 as concentration increases. Both cases are there. In some cases, as concentration increases, gamma value will become, that is activity coefficient value will become less than 1. In some cases, as the concentration of strong electrolyte increases, what happens? The activity coefficient value will become greater than 1. That means if it is less than 1, the deviation is a negative deviation. If it is greater than 1, the deviation from ideal behavior is greater than 1, or we can say it is positive deviation. See, why this is happening? Because the activity coefficient value less than 1 or greater than 1 shows there is a departure from ideal behavior. There is a deviation from ideal behavior. This is because of different types of attractive or repulsive forces between like and unlike molecules. Okay, that is what this activity coefficient value shows. Now let us consider, if we plot a activity coefficient value against the root of concentration. See, this is activity coefficient value again root of concentration. What happens if this is equal to 1, 0.8, 0.6, 0.4, 0.2, 0 like this. See, in some cases the activity coefficient goes on decreases. This is 0.5, 1, 1.5 as concentration increases. In some cases, in some electrolytes, the activity coefficient value increases. In some cases, it will be like this. For example, this is for calcium chloride. This is for KCl. This is for zinc sulfate. So different types of electrolytes. In some cases, as the concentration decreases, what happens? The activity coefficient value will become 1. Okay? It becomes ideal. In some, that is, as concentration goes on increases, there is the gamma value will become less than 1. Depends on the concentration. Okay? In some cases, it is greater than 1. See, it goes up. In the case of calcium chloride, as concentration goes on increases, the activity coefficient value becomes greater than 1. So remember, activity coefficient actually shows the magnitude of deviation from ideal behavior. In the case of dilute solutions or at low concentrations, the strong electrolyte act ideally. At higher concentrations, okay, there will be deviation from ideal behavior due to attractive or repulsive force between like molecules or unlike molecules. Okay. So, different strong electrolytes at different concentrations will have different activity coefficient values. Okay. Next topic, very important topic that we are going to discuss is next one, determination of activity coefficient by electrochemical method. How to find out the activity coefficient value by electrochemical method? Usually by measuring the EMF or EMF method. Now let us consider, we have a strong electrolyte like HCl. Okay, we have to find out the activity coefficient of strong electrolyte like HCl. How to determine? Okay, we have to construct a cell without liquid junction potential. Okay, in such a way that the one half cell is reversible with respect to H plus ions or a cation, and another half cell reversible with respect to anion, that is Cl minus ion. We have to construct a cell, and that cell containing hydrochloric acid whose activity coefficient is to be determined. Now let us consider a cell made up of two half cells. Okay, that is platinum in contact with hydrogen gas of 1 atmospheric pressure, that is, the cell is hydrogen electrode in contact with hydrochloric acid of concentration molality M, which is in contact with silver chloride solid and silver. So this is the cell they are constructed. This is left hand side half cell. This is right hand side half cell. Left hand side half cell is the platinum wire inserted with hydrochloric acid whose activity coefficient is to be determined, in which this is hydrogen electrode. This electrode is reversible with respect to H plus ions. And silver chloride electrode, silver electrode in contact with silver chloride, this is reversible with respect to an ion, that is Cl minus ions. Okay? Now, what is the cell reaction? In the first half cell, left hand side half cell, it undergoes oxidation. That is, hydrogen gas oxidized to H plus ions. And in the right hand side half cell, reduction taking place, Ag plus is reduced to silver. Then I am writing the overall cell reaction. How to write the overall cell reaction? The cell reaction is half H2 hydrogen gas plus AgCl solid gives silver solid plus H plus half concentration 1 molar plus Cl minus. Okay, this is the total cell reaction of this reaction. Okay, here that is hydrogen gas oxidized to H plus ions and Ag plus ions present in the silver chloride is reduced to silver. Now we have to find out how to find out the EMF of this cell. The EMF of a cell is usually calculated by using a well-known equation called Nernst equation that we have already studied. That is, using Nernst equation, I can write the Nernst equation for this is E is equal to E naught minus RT by NF into log of activity of H plus ions and activity of Cl minus ions divided by activity of hydrogen gas power half, okay, and activity of AgCl. Here, activity of silver solid. Since the activity of silver solid, the activity of silver chloride, the activity of hydrogen gas exactly at 1 atmospheric pressure, their activities are taken as unity. It will be equal to 1. Therefore, I can write this equation as E is equal to E naught minus, what is our gas constant? 8.314 joules per Kelvin per mole. Temperature 273 plus 25 298. Okay, divided by NF. Here 1 electron transfer. Faraday 96,500 coulombs into log of activity of H plus ions and activity of Cl minus ions, since the activity of silver solid, hydrogen gas and the activity of silver chloride is unity. Now, I can write this equation, simplify, that is, you simplify this, it will be equal to 0.0591 into log of activity of H plus and activity of Cl minus. Okay. We know already that what is activity of H plus and activity of Cl minus. The activity of cation is taken as A plus. The activity of Cl minus is taken as A minus. And if we put together, I can write it as this is mean ionic activity. This is power 1, because one H plus is there, one Cl minus is there. It will be equal to A plus or minus square, or we can say this is mean ionic activity, and it will be equal to, and since activity is equal to gamma into m, we know, therefore I can write this equation as it will be equal to A plus or minus will be equal to gamma plus or minus mean ionic activity coefficient into molality whole square. Okay, the whole square. Or I can write it as it will be equal to mean ionic activity coefficient square molality square. Okay. Now I am substituting the value of activity of H plus A or Cl minus, this value in this equation. I will get it will equal to E naught minus 0.0591 into log of activity coefficient, mean activity coefficient square, m square. Okay? Then, how to solve this? Very simple. E is equal to E naught minus x square log x power y is equal to y log x. So therefore, minus 2 into 0.0591 log of gamma plus or minus. Okay, and another minus, and this 2 into 0.0591, okay, into log m. I can write the equation like this. Now, E is equal to E naught minus, when you multiply this, it will be 0.1182 into log of gamma plus or minus 2 into 0.0591 0.1182 into log m. Okay. Now I am rearranging this equation on rearranging. Okay, on rearranging, I can write it as E. When this comes here, it becomes plus 0.1182 log m will be equal to E naught minus 0.1182 log gamma plus or minus. Okay. Now, there are two unknown values here. One is standard EMF, another one is mean ionic activity coefficient. How can we determine? This can be determined by measuring the EMF of a cell. Okay? We have to measure the EMF of a cell at various concentrations of hydrochloric acid. Okay? Then what happens? For example, at infinite dilution, what is infinite dilution? When large quantity of water is supplied, added, its concentration becomes zero. That means molality will become equal to zero. When molality is become equal to zero, then automatically what happens? Gamma plus or minus 1 will become equal to unity. That is, solution become ideal. That is, see, plus or minus will become equal to unity. Then in that case, so that what happens? When this is equal to unity, the log of 1 will be equal to 0. Okay? Log of 1 will be equal to 0. Therefore, how to find out EMF? Very simple. Considering a very dilute solution, when m is equal to 0, this value will become equal to 0. So therefore, I have to plot the value of log m versus m at different concentration. From the y-intercept, we can easily find out the value of E naught. Okay? If we know the value of E naught, we can easily find out the value of mean ionic activity coefficient. Let us see how to calculate that. See, when we plot log m value in the y-axis against the m, we get a straight line. And at extrapolation and at the y-intercept, we get the value of E naught. We get the value of, from the y-intercept value, we get the value of E naught. Once you know the value of E naught and E, the EMF of a cell determined at various concentrations of HCl, you can easily find out the value of activity coefficient. So therefore, by using this EMF method, we can determine the activity coefficient of hydrochloric acid. So remember, to find out the activity coefficient of hydrochloric acid, we have to construct a cell in which the platinum electrode is dipped in a hydrochloric acid whose activity coefficient is to be determined. It is combined with silver electrode. Then the silver electrode will act as a reversible electrode with respect to Cl minus, and hydrogen electrodes act as reversible electrodes with respect to H plus. Then from this equation, by that we have to measure the EMF of a cell at different concentration of hydrochloric acid, and the value of E naught can be calculated by plotting the log m value against m. After extrapolation from the y-intercept value, you can find out the E naught. From the value of E naught, you can easily determine the value of activity coefficient. So this method is called determination of activity coefficient by electrochemical method. It is very helpful. So therefore today, dear students, we have studied what is the activity coefficient of strong electrolytes, what it shows, that is in the case of strong electrolytes, the activity coefficient value at dilute solutions, it shows unity that behaves ideally. At higher concentrations, there may be a deviation due to ionic forces of attraction between the like molecules and unlike molecules. Therefore, the activity coefficient value may be greater than 1 or less than 1 at higher concentrations. Okay? And we have also studied how to determine the activity coefficient by electrochemical method. In the next class, we will study